Woosah, 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 woosah. I'm woosahing while I'm messing with these levels because I got to make sure that it's not on red. Woosah. All right. Hola, hola, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Woosah Wednesday. With me today, I have I Minister Carla. I have I Minister Odeyemi. I have I Minister Jennifer. And I am very, very excited for this Woosah because today we're going to be sharing with you about redirection. Redirection. It is March 13th, my favorite day of the month. And there is a lot going on in the world. So before we even get started, I would like to ask I Minister Odeyemi to please go ahead and pray us in on this Woosah Wednesday so that we can get this started.
Giving thanks and gratitude. Giving thanks and gratitude and gratefulness for the divinity within myself. Giving thanks and gratitude and gratefulness for the divinity within each and every one of you. As we come together in oneness and unity on this sacred, divine moment, Woosah Wednesday, when we come to just breathe and allow ourselves this moment just to be free. Allow ourselves to share. Allow ourselves to receive and to give and to give and receive. To remove all the barriers, what we think are barriers. To receive and give this golden opportunity to share, inspire, uplift the wisdom. Knowing that we're not alone, that we have each other. And everything we need is within ourselves. And we are a beacon. We are interconnected and intertwined. And we all have a piece of this pie. And we all bring something to the table. So let us share this pie. Let us share ourselves with each other. Let's take the mask off. Let's come to an understanding and an understanding that is due season. Ashe, Amra, Mayat.
Ache. Gracias. We're talking about redirection today. Who comes to mind? I got to give a big ache to the master Bruce Lee, who talks about being like water. I think about that during this time because there is no time like right now than to be like water. So when it comes to redirection, let's consider that every single thing is energy. Everything is energy. And so energy coming to us that's challenging is giving us an opportunity to practice on this redirection of energy. It's important to perceive what is happening in the world as really what it is that's happening in the world, which is an opportunity for you to expand. If you're experiencing a challenge, that is an opportunity for you to expand, an opportunity for you to find gems in your situation that are going to help you evolve and help you flow better in life. Before I even get into it, I do have to say, for those that are listening for the first time, Woosah Wednesday is a space that we've created to serve our community. So if anyone that is listening needs a Woosah, needs to release something, then this is why we are here. There are several of us here, practitioners and our ministers, on deck to service you in any way that we're able to do it through this transmission. Someone came in the line, 919 number. Did you call in because you wanted to woosah, or were you just calling in to listen?
It's just little me.
It's who?
Little me.
Who's little old me?
It's Gabrielle.
Oh, hi, Minister Gabrielle. See, why is it I'm Minister Gabrielle from Crystal Bridge Ministries. I just, numbers. I got to get better with my numbers and be like, I know what number that is. Yeah. What was I going to say? Okay. So we're talking about this redirection, and I want to ask the I ministers, what are some of the techniques that you use for redirecting energy in your world when things are happening, when you're experiencing a challenge? How do you redirect this energy? And would it be easier if I just called on everybody one-on-one, or does somebody want to go ahead and just kind of grab the mic? I can feel it.
I'll pop in.
Okay.
How about lately I don't? I don't redirect the energy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the space of, it's here for a reason. Let's sit with it, play with it, observe it. It obviously came to bring something.
Mm-hmm.
I consciously called it in, unconsciously called it in, subconsciously called it in. My spirit team called it in for a reason. So I think one of the things that I have learned over this past year, as I'm approaching another solar return, is that sometimes you just need to sit with it and observe it. And if it's for you, if there's I don't want to call them lessons anymore. If there's information and data in it for me, then I make a decision or a choice as to how to transmute it. And that could be anything from grounding it, doing mirror work, doing Reiki or some timeline therapy on myself. Or it may just be that it's not mine and it's there for me to observe, and I'll let it pass on.
When you say timeline therapy, can you give us a little bit about what that is?
Timeline therapy is I want to call it a procedure. It's a practice combining neuro-linguistic programming, a little bit of hypnotherapy, and you can create scripts where you can look at, for instance, there is an issue where someone is feeling abandonment, and it has a start point, or they felt that way because of experiences and incidences years ago. And then what you do is you can
take the subconscious mind to a space where you look at this and you reframe it. You reframe the experience. You look at what it brought you. And through the language, through using neurolinguistic linguistic programming, it's almost as if you're rewiring that experience in yourself and in your brain. And it adds a different perspective to it. I've used it for myself and clients, especially for trauma.
Would you say that that's a similar thing as like tapping into your meridians and putting, different ideas and different thoughts, different words in there?
Very similar to that.
Hypnosis. I'm glad that you're talking about that and doing it to yourself, because I just, I'm really not trying to trust nobody, to hypnotize me for nothing.
You cannot be hypnotized if you are not willing to be hypnotized.
Okay, that's good. Cause no, it ain't happening. It's not happening. Nope. If I do it myself, I've hypnotized myself enough. So yeah. No, ain't let nobody in there. I know there's someone that I know that they're really into it and going to hypnosis for so that they could be better, so that they could get hypnotized to be a better person. And I'm like, oh, that's wonderful, that's great. Yeah, just not for me. I yield the floor. Were you complete?
I'm complete.
Gracias. That was a great point of being, just kind of, that's the time that we're in right now too, where you really have to allow and you have to look at these things, feel these things that are happening, because everything that's happening to us is for a reason. It's on purpose. It's for us, so it's really important to allow for your life to give you what you need to have, but definitely transformation and transmutation's very important process to all of this, because something has to happen with the energy that you're experiencing. The energy is not just going to go away. So what are we doing with this energy? Where are we putting it? I'm Minister Carla.
Hola. I think you're going to call me. Okay. Can you hear me clear? I know I'm driving and I hope I don't have too much background noise.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So for me right now, as you know, Lottie knows, I went through a major breakup and a lot of life shifts. So what I've been doing, honestly, is focusing on my cellular memory and doing the wonderful ministers discussed before us. I haven't done the hypnotherapy, but I've done the EFT tapping. I've been doing a lot of specific movements and body movements to allow my body to exercise out some of that stored energy. And I've learned, especially as women, we hold things so deeply that it affects and stresses our adrenal and lymphatic system. So I've been focusing nutritionally on allowing my body to release those emotions while healing myself and strengthening those areas in my body that have taken toll, because I've also recognized the body keeps score. And so I will look into hypnotherapy, not necessarily to do it, because I might do it, I'm not sure I want somebody in their mind, but I'm very curious as to modalities that are used to help releasing traumas and also really rewriting the script of the movie that we're creating every day. So, and baila, dance.
Absolutely.
That's my therapy.
Absolutely.
That's all I got.
Yes. That dance is very, very important. And as you were talking about this energy, you guys know that I've been doing this 100 squats challenge every day, 100 squats no matter what, and it has been about so much more than just the squat. It's about the mind and what's happening to my mind, how I think about myself, how I feel about myself, what I believe about myself, what I'm saying to myself. And then the other part of it that's happening is in the motion of a squat, what is happening for a woman. I mean, there's so many, because one thing that I've been doing is I've been putting a pyramid right under me, so that as I'm squatting, I'm receiving the energy from this pyramid. And it absolutely has to do with the womb, the vagina, and so this energy that is being received and is being released out. And it's just so interesting the way that will be moved to do a particular thing, and we don't necessarily know why we're doing it, or we may have an idea of what we think it is, but it becomes something completely different. And I'll give an example of that is since 2011, I started practicing yoga, but I was just practicing it by doing moves that I felt like doing, that I saw, and I was like, okay, that's cool, I'll do that, or moves that would just come to me to do. And so I have been doing this particular move for 8 years, and I didn't look at it. I wasn't looking at it. I didn't look it up. I did not look it up. I didn't know what the move was. I just loved doing it. And so I just recently started doing a March to Your Mat yoga challenge with Collective Light. I'm Minister Sharice. And this is a different yoga pose every day. And this pose that I have been practicing for the last 8 years is called the dancer's pose. And I didn't know that, but who I am, my energy, my spirit, my ancestors, my guides, I was called to make these moves and to do these moves and to be consistent in doing them and generate the energy that comes from creating, doing the yoga and doing this move, and, to discover its name so many years later. It was just fascinating to me, and it gave me even more courage to just continue to trust myself in my movement, and especially being in a place where I just want to do what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I just want to do what I feel like doing, what feels good to me to do. That's what I want to do. And it's been teaching me so much to be that. And I'm really grateful for this experience, and I'm grateful for my connection and communication and fellowship with all of you wombstresses. Ache, thank you. I'm Minister Carla. I am going to spin the bottle, spin the bottle, spin the bottle. I'm Minister Jennifer. You are next.
You said Jennifer?
See?
Yes, okay. I wanted to make sure because my earbuds were going in and out, so I wanted to make sure I heard you correctly. Okay, so for me, redirecting energy is kind of like, sometimes I make it a little more difficult than it needs to be because I'm always having to solve for X in my head because I'm so analytical and prone to overthink. So when I have to do it, I have to take a step back from trying to figure out why it's here, what its purpose is, and focus on how it makes me feel.
Mm-hmm.
And when it makes me feel low and not like myself, not having a lot of energy, then I go to basics and start to do the opposite of what I'm feeling. So if I'm feeling like this energy is overwhelming me and I can't function, or I don't want to do the things I normally do, or makes me feel like, not like a depressed, but kind of similar in that vein of not wanting to do anything at all, I go into the opposite of that. I go into a more hyper state of movement and being fluidly moving through dealing with the energy so I can kind of turn things around to raise the vibration inside me, be able to handle the energy that's happening. So sometimes I feel like if you spend too much time trying to figure out what it is or why it's here, it could take me to a slump that you really don't need to be in, because we have to vibrate on a higher level in order to function and redirected in the first place. So I start at that square one of doing the opposite of what I want to do, feeling-wise, before I can get to the redirection.
Mm-hmm. You know, I think it's great how everyone has their way and their formula of, you know, how it is that you redirect, how it is that you transmute, what it is that you're doing with the energy that's coming into your experience. So thank you so much for sharing that. Are you complete? Are you complete, Minister Jennifer?
I am complete and I yield the floor.
Gracias, gracias. It is Woosah Wednesday. We are talking about what we're doing with this energy when the energy is heavy, when the energy is challenging in our lives. How is it that we are redirecting this energy? How are we transmuting and transforming? I'm Minister Oyeyemi.
Greetings. Well, I have a choice. I can either accept the energy or not accept the energy. Is I don't believe in whenever something is going on outside in the world that I have to accept that energy. That's not my energy. So I'm not going to accept anything that isn't mine. Every second, every moment is a golden opportunity for me to transcend, to transform, and to transmute. But if there's I create whatever comes to me, it's because I created it. And so if I create something, I'm Minister Gabrielle. I'm going to sit in that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to see exactly what is it that I need to see, what is it I need to do with it, and allow it. Because a lot of times, I don't know, I don't accept anything that isn't mine.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not divine, it ain't mine. I live in a different, I don't think anything is a challenge. I think when things come, they come because of our creation.
Mm-hmm.
They come for us to see something. They come to show us exactly who we are. Each moment, each second, each experience, each energetic energy comes as a golden opportunity.
A golden opportunity. So no more challenge.
Divine being is free.
Can you say that last part again? We broke up a little bit.
Okay. If that's accepted, we are truly a tree. We are the tree of life. There's a tree inside our being. So when you truly rooted in, nothing disturbs the calm peace of your soul. It might come and you be like the palm tree. You can bend to the right and you can bend down to the left and you can bend, but you got to stand back and rest.
Mm-hmm. I just gotta tell you, I gotta tell you right now. So on Sunday, I'm Minister Oyeyemi. You know Lisa Nichols, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So Lisa Nichols was given a service at Agape, and she was talking about that very thing that you said. She was just talking about bending, like the trees, like the palm trees, and she was swaying her body, and it was just so funny that you say it right now, and it's like these powerful messages that are coming and the synchronicity that is happening. And so I just wanted to share it to Lisa Nichols and to you for always picking up on the frequency. Continue. Pardon me.
Because so often we've been told, I don't know. I've always felt like the teachings that are being taught have no validity. The greatest master teacher is yourself. We've been taught that everything has to be one way, but it's not. It might not. I don't think the energy is heavy on this planet. I think the energy is exactly as it should be. But it's what we call it. It's how we receive it. It's how we perceive it.
Yes.
So I yield the floor.
That's it. You know, it's interesting because when we really think about the power of our words and what you just said, how we receive things, because it is we speak things into existence, and we've been the masters, whether we're recognizing that we are or not. It's still, life is happening by our choice through our vibrational frequency. That is how the universe is, receiving that signal on what it is to bring back to us. So now we're just in a time where people are starting to recognize what that is and what that means, and to have that power. It's a magnificent thing to recognize that your life is all because of what you have been creating through your vibrational frequency. When you really are able to take accountability for that, it really makes a difference in your life moving forward, because you're able to redesign it. And these words that we say, and these, I'm definitely a user of the, descriptive terms of how I see energies. And when the energy is dense, I say challenge because of the way that I perceived the challenge, but in moving forward and seeing the power of words and how our perception is such a major part of everything that is created, that is materialized within us, is so important that, if you're walking in a path where it's like, I'm not trying to do no more challenges. Like, I'm good. I'm ready to just flow through it all, and know that it's possible, and feel it. It makes you change the way that you communicate, and the words that you say to yourself, and how you represent yourself to your creator through the thoughts that you're keeping, and the what you're minding, where your mind is at. For those that are just tuning in, you're listening to Woosah Wednesday. We're here to serve anyone that needs a woosah, that needs a release. We talked about transmuting energy, transforming it, redirecting it. And so we gave you some things to consider in your own journey. On this part of the service, I want to talk about what we need to release, what we need to woosah about. For me, my woosah is more of a happy woosah, woosah, I'm catching my breath and I'm just releasing, because it's been just a wonderful, wonderful feeling of healing is the best way that I can describe it. When you're able to just really flow in the magic of what's happening in your life, like in every second, every moment. And so I've been experiencing that flow and experiencing that peace, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful thing. I want to give my time of woosah and ache to someone who taught me a lot, and he's forever in my heart and will always be a sensei of mine, Dr. Delbert Blair. Ache to Dr. Delbert Blair. My dreams have been so vivid, so descriptive, and so revealing. And when I first spoke to Dr. Delbert Blair, he taught me about keeping my mind awake, even in the dream state. And he taught me about the power of that dream state and what is happening during that time. And doing that technique, it really changed my life. It made me be able to comprehend so many things and really tap into these energies that exist in me. Like, you know, it's interesting when people call to the deities and the gods and all of these different things that they describe, these energies that, you know, they see as these powerful beings that are like outside of them. But when you recognize that it's all within, it's inside of you, then it's just about you learning the language of how to speak to them through yourself. And this is not like om or this or that. This is about the language, the vibration that you keep within yourself, the communication that you're having with your cells, the communication that you're having with spirit, and how you connect with that. That is your rhythm. That is your language. That is how you are communicating with this energy. And so being able to feel that and know that truth, there's just nothing else like it. And so I have to, before the last conversation that I had with Dr. Delbert Blair, it was a conversation where he felt defeated and he felt like they got him, you know. And it was a very, I remember after that conversation just kind of thinking about him and sending him love, because everybody has to go through their challenge, whatever it is and whatever it was. And, you know, he felt that when just the position that he was in at that time of him leaving, he thought things would be different. And, you know, it was just an interesting connection with him, and it was just so powerful what he's done, not just for me, but for so many. I mean, man, for so many people. And it was just a recognition of the soul and spirit and what life is and how it really is continuous and it goes on, because Dr. Delbert Blair is alive right now. You know what I'm saying? It's like we really don't go, when you leave enough of your energy in the place that you reside, where your soul goes for a while, you know, you are able to leave your mark. And it doesn't have to be something that everybody's seeing, that everybody's talked about. It could be something that just one person remembers, and it can change the world. You know, it's a very powerful thing, the energy of each individual on this planet. And it's just such a beautiful thing when people recognize that in themselves. And, you know, to remember who you are, there's nothing more beautiful than that. You know, I remember as a little girl, the whole, you know, Jesus is coming and God is coming and he's coming back and it's coming back. And, you know, I remember hearing that, like specifically in the 80s. In the 80s, it's like it was everywhere. And, you know, the coming and he's coming back. And I always was expecting, you know, at that young age, I was expecting, okay, so the Lord is going to open up the heavens and the sky, and he's going to come down and he's going to get everybody. He's going to get all these bad people, and he's going to, you know, and then, you know, as I got older and as I continued to talk about these things with myself, I kept, you know, just things that just were not making sense. And I kept going on this journey of self-realization is really what it has been my whole life. I think that's what it is for all of us. We may not call it that, but that's what the journey is for everyone, is to discover themselves. It's like once you discover that and you recognize who you are, there's no stopping it. It's like when people recognize that you are the Jesus that you've been looking for, that you are that Savior, all of that, like there's no turning back from that. There's no, you don't go backwards from that. You cannot. You know, once you open the door is open. And however long it takes, you're going to get it. If you were meant to get it in this life, you're going to get it. You know, even if you don't want to. If it was meant and designed, if you had agreed that in this lifetime, in 2024, you came here for this, to get this awareness and to get this realization of yourself, then it's going to happen. Like, you can't hide from it. This is that time for all of us that are here having this experience. Is what we made a choice a long time ago to do. And I think that people could make that, they can sit on that belief based on a lot of different things. And they, people could say, I'm saying that based on, oh, it's just my spiritual belief, right? But when you really get down to the science of what life is, check out the Kabbalion, check out the Master Key System, check out the real science and mathematics that life is, you know that universal law, there's no escaping it. You can't, if you live by it, you can't lose. I mean, you can't lose anyway if you're here. If you're able to figure it out, you're really winning. But this is something that, when you work with certain formulas, then those things are going to work. Like when you become like water, you're going to experience that flow in your life. And it takes a while for some people to recognize what these terms and what these different things mean, but they flow in the world so often. Like this gift of inspiration and enlightenment and all of these wonderful things that we call whatever it is that we call them, they have existed forever. They will continue to exist. They're amplified now more than ever because of the alignment of the planets and what's happening in the world. But nothing is brand new except for our awareness of it all at once. But this is now we get to see that, oh, okay, it makes sense now. And the things that, I thought were crazy are not so crazy after all. They're very real. And so it's a beautiful time to exist in, where you could just be lost in your own world and really be just completely enchanted by all of the marvelous things that you have put in your world, from every experience, like every emotion. Please consider this. In this vessel, you were able, only in this vessel, are you able to experience this emotional guidance system. Can you cry? Can you laugh? Can you, be mad and angry? And can you, experience this orgasmic essence that we're all constantly after? This is where we can do it. I mean, when we go back to the soul, it goes back to the everything. So it's not like it is when it's in the body. When it's in the, and I'm not just talking about the human body, the bodies of insects and bodies of animals, all of these different energies these different bodies have different experiences that are, specific to that particular body. And if you've been here many, many times, you've probably been most of these things, and it's something that, to be able to recognize it in this lifetime and be aware of what this magic truly is, and that every single one of us has it. Like every single one of us has it. I remember looking at celebrities and looking at the TV and looking at these magnificent people that I would see performing and speaking and doing all of the things that they're just so wonderful at doing, and just, thinking that it was so far, because it was like, oh, well, these people on TV are these people that have been selected to do these are just the lucky people that get to do that. And then you look at your ministers and your popes and this and that, all these, the presidents and, all of these so-called important people that, oh yeah, they were chosen because they were just great. And no, I can't be that great because I don't have the schooling, I didn't do this, my life, look where I lived, I can't, and so having all of these ideas and all of these thoughts in your head all the time, and then to finally realize, hold up, I am that. Like, I am that. I do have that. I'm Jesus. I'm everything. I'm like, I am God experience. Like I am a direct extension of this thing that all of the people that I look at, that I admire, that I think are so marvelous and amazing, that's me. I'm seeing when I'm so, just hypnotized and mesmerized by their brilliance and by their excellence, I'm really being astounded by myself. But I didn't know that. But now that I know that, it's just like, wow. And I wish that everybody could see it, because it's like, it's so easy. It's like right there. But it's right there for me because I earned this. Like I earned this. I earned the ability to be in the flow, to be like water. It's not just watching a Bruce Lee movie. It's not just hearing somebody say it a million times. It's living through my own experience. going through that fear, going through that darkest time, your darkest moment, like go in it, relish in it, play in the mud, get dirty, get really dirty, get as dark as you can get, because that's how you grow. You need that. We need that. I needed every single thing that has happened in my life, every single thing. I've needed it. And I'm so grateful for it. And when we're going through that process, we may kick and scream and act how we act. And I'm grateful for being able to kick and scream, cry when I want to cry, be mad when I want to be mad, do whatever I want to do, whatever I want to do, I'm able to do in this body, in this time. And I don't take that lightly anymore. I don't take my thoughts lightly. I remember when I first discovered about just what we say to ourselves and how we talk to ourselves, I was like, how am I got to be careful of everything I say and everything I think and everything. The pressure that I felt in thinking that I had to I had to be this perfect being so I could have this perfect experience of what I want, because I want these perfect things and I want this, it's like I was completely programmed into thinking that life was perfection, like not the imperfection that it is, the perfect imperfection that it is, but really perfection. And this is a program that we have all existed in that program of being the best and winning and having to beat so-and-so and having to compete and having to be better than and having to be as good as. And all of those things are just illusions, because none of it matters. Have you ever noticed that, okay, everybody has gotten ill, right? When you get ill, do you notice that well, it's a different world now, because some people get ill and that phone is still in their hands, okay? But for a lot of people, when you get ill and your own, health is in question, or you're feeling kind of like your body needs assistance immediately, your whole world completely changes, especially if you're facing like a near-death experience, or you're, knocking on heaven's door. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're not thinking about TV. You're not thinking about the news. You're not thinking about what so-and-so is doing down the street. You are not thinking about anything but what is happening in your life in that moment, what you're missing, what you might miss, what you don't want to miss, what you appreciate, what you have gratitude for. You're calling on God. You're calling, those are these, these dark moments when we're like ill and we're feeling like, and that's usually when people call God, right? But when you recognize who you are, and a lot of times those moments take you to that realization. But when you recognize this who you are, and you recognize that, wait, God is in me and this energy is who I am, and I can call on it and have everything that I need. And not that you're just saying it because you've heard it be said. You're saying it because you know it, because you've experienced it. There's nothing like it. And there's nothing that can get you to that but you. And so in this that we're bringing here with this Woosah Wednesday and this collective of different magnificent people that are bringing their medicine and their formulas and the way that they do it, we absolutely offer private services for those that want it, for those that want to continue with their self-evolution with, some assistance of someone else. But please know that Woosah Wednesday and what we're offering here is a vision so that you can see what it looks like when people are healing themselves with the help of themselves, recognizing the JC in themselves, recognizing who they are, the infinionaire that they are. And when you recognize what that is and who that is, that doesn't have a picture, a perfect picture, or a picture of what somebody thinks it looks like. When people hear the word infinite being, it is an intimidating thing, because they can't even fathom that. How can somebody be that? What is that? Well, that's me, and that's you. And when you come to the realization of what that is, then you can walk in it too. But it is something that when you are walking in that, it is just the most magnificent experience that you could have, because you begin to see your experience for as valuable as it truly is. And you recognize that those times that bring you that darkness, they're as golden as the happiest times that you could ever experience. I know that I said a lot with my woosah, but I want to go ahead and yield the floor and see what how anyone else would like to express their woosah on this Woosah Wednesday. silence is golden. And I love it when every moment presents us the opportunity to learn, and how not saying anything is saying exactly what is necessary to be heard. In that little moment, I'm always very aware of silence, because that comes from my background, the old self. But I realize that, the messages that come through so clearly. And so this message of silence is so important, because it is loud. Everywhere we go, there's things going on. There's things to listen to. There's sounds. There's people talking. There's people being. There's sound everywhere. So to be able to be in silence, like, driving in your car with no music, no radio, no nothing going on, just listening to everything that's going on. That's going to help you sharpen up your senses. It's going to help you be able to listen more. And not only that, but when you start that practice, you are spiritually activating another sense of yourself to listen in that realm. You're saying, yes, I'm paying attention, I'm listening. There's a lot of things that people are doing in regards to the universal laws, and they're taking, parts of it, and they're practicing little bits of this and little bits of that, and they're not really being aware of how to use these practices and how to use these laws. And it first comes from basically you knowing the laws. And once you know the laws and practicing them, reading them, and, really familiarizing yourself with the laws and how they work, then you just allow them to absorb into you, so that you can just, practice your life within the laws, universal laws, the laws of Ma'at. And so when you start asking for this divination, so to speak, then it falls into you. You receive it. Asking it is given is really true. So when you start receiving it, then you can trust that everything is going to happen as it should be. And I'm taking myself back to that of when I was having the thoughts of so many thoughts. How do I, how am I going to check myself? How do I have, I have to be this perfect being. And then I learned that no, I don't. I just have to be myself, and then I just have to have a want for something. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I want to learn about myself and I want to, then I have to take the action of really, taking the steps to do that learning. And when it comes to spiritual healing and the spiritual work, that practice is meditation, is stillness, is quietness. And it may take you however many years it'll take you, and trust and believe, something as seemingly simple as meditation. Some people are just, they believe that they're unable to do it, and it's what they believe, and so that's what makes it so. And so when you make the decision that you're going to make something happen, and you're consistent with yourself, and you stay true to yourself in that decision, then you're gonna get what it is that you're asking for all the time. That's how powerful of beings we are. Like, we have access to everything. And it's, I'm happy to be here in my outrageous mind thinking, delusional thoughts of how infinite we are as being. And I really don't mind being, alone in my world in it if I must be. The cool thing is that I know that I'm not. And I run into all of these crazy delusional beings all the time. It's a wonderful thing. Wherever my mind is, that's where I am, and my mind is always in a place that I ain't never seen before around these parts. I've been creating it in my mind, and it's a feeling, and it's this feeling projects itself in my life, and then it gets revealed. When I have these moments of love and great things that are happening, I'm able to look at it, and I'm like, oh, mira lo que hice. Look what I did. Look what I did. I did that. And it's okay to say that I did that. You know why? Because I know who I am, and I know that I'm not walking as me. I am as not me, Mari, the human, the vessel. No. This is Mari with no name, the I am that is operating through me. That is what's being expressed. That is what I'm seeing. So I feel no shame in saying I did that. I feel no shame in being, no guilt at all. I don't feel any kind of, and I'm saying this because this is what I used to feel. I used to feel I should not say that. I should not be, how dare I be so great as to compare myself to Jesus? Who do you think you are? You know what I'm saying? It's like, you can't do that. That's blasphemy. A whole lifetime of these thoughts. And to be able to unravel them and see them as me, as she, that's the most powerful thing that is happening in the world for me right now. It is the power of the divine feminine. And I'm speaking in a way of, I know that there's a conscious community going on right now. There's a lot of ideas and a lot of things, but please know that this divine feminine is everything. It is everything. It is every fucking thing. And I have to say it like that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because the divine feminine is that high, it is that low, it is that in between, it is everything, and it is all to be embraced. And when you get to that divine timing where it's time for you to expand and go to those levels where it's just all just super, whatever it is in your mind that you think this divinity is, then that's what it will be. But you don't have to. It helps when we take away, when we separate, when we detach from these ideas of what divinity is and what these things are supposed to mean, and really absorb them in our lives so that we can know what it truly is. And it doesn't have a look, it doesn't have this cloak of, I understand we describe all this, the golden light and the golden and the liquid and the this and the chakras and these colors, like, every frequency has a number and it comes to a color, like all of that. It all makes sense, right? When we really dive into the depths of it. But in the most simple way, it is you and your experience. And so when you're in a place of peace and happiness, you are in the right place. When you're in a place where you are not in a place of peace and happiness, then it becomes your job to find that peace and happiness in whatever it is that you have to do. That doesn't mean you got to go, you need a vacation, or my peace and happiness is going to come when I take this vacation, when I get all this money and I go on this boat and I'm on the beach with my margarita, and my weed. You know what I'm saying? It's like, your peace is here now, and you got to find it here now so that you can access it forever. If you're not able to find it here now, you're not going to find it later. You're going to keep waiting to find it later. You're going to keep waiting for those things to happen, because in this time where you are waiting, you are creating more waiting. And so this is why it's so important to be here now, whatever the moment is. And so being present is not just being in a place physically. You know how people are like, well, I have to go to my daughter's, rehearsal or whatever show she's having, and I'm going there, and then I'm there, and then I'm on my phone, and then I'm doing this, but my body is there. Like, is that really being there? No, that's not being present at all. I'm seeing in these concerts and these shows, like, people are spending lots of money. Tickets to concerts are not cheap. And they're doing the phone thing, and they're recording it for the people, for their Instagram, for whatever it is. And they're basically like throwing their money away for somebody else to have an experience that was meant for them to have. And so these are the things that are continuously happening in the world for us to, grab at. What is it for me? What is it? What direction is it that I have to go? And sometimes we find these groups of beings that match, our frequency, our vibrational frequency, and it gives us what we need. But then we move along to the next thing. This whole idea that, you have to be attached to a person that you love or did something for you or you cared for or that you birthed, whatever, it just... You think that you have to hang on to that forever, and that's been part of the toxicity and the dysfunction. I have to share with you this. On last Saturday, I had a conversation with Michaela Lovely, my daughter. It was a great conversation. You can check it out at mastervibration13.com. And it was so funny because I talked about my mother, and I hadn't talked to my mother in a very long time. I've been calling and it just wasn't happening. It wasn't happening. So it's been about 2 months. And so today, guess who calls? My mom. And my mom is from that school of, no, I ain't calling you. If you don't call me, I ain't calling you. And so it was just a wonderful thing. And then the conversation that we had was about being able to let go of your children, of your offspring. And so, my mom is 80 years old. Ache to mami, bendición, te quiero mucho. She's going through the time in her life where she's reliving certain things and she's releasing certain things. And it was very, very evident to me that she called for this healing that I am so grateful and honored to be able to give to her. And she was releasing something that had to do with just children and the idea that you have as a mom that, when you have your offspring, when you have your seeds, that they're for you, they belong to you, they're only for you, you have to be with them forever and you have to care for them forever. And, a lot of times we, with that's against nature. It really is not a natural thing. Yeah, some families stay together, a lot of times, and we've seen in the society that it's not been a good time when you force a family to stay together, when you make somebody do things that they don't want to do for the sake of money, or keeping the wealth of the family and different things like that. And so my mom came to a realization, on her own, that when you have the children, you have to guide them and train them so that they can be gone and have their own lives. And I know that sounds it sounds like, oh, well, yeah, that makes sense. I should have. But we're talking about someone who is 80 years old and did not have that in, when we were growing up. That was not a concept that she was receiving. And so there was a lot of holding and a lot of expectation and a lot of feelings of abandonment when your children leave and they live their own lives. And, these feelings of hate and anger and, all of these different things that come from this connection and this tie that isn't nurtured and isn't, it's been what it has been for a lot of us in the world like this, with our connections with our parents and our moms and things like that. So it was a very powerful confirmation how this works and how perfect it is and how perfect she is to be able to still be on her mission. And, in her mind, she may think that she's this or that or the other, but my vision of her and how I see her and how I exalt her just in her presence and just by me being me. It's like not even anything that I'm doing physically to be like, oh, mother, I am, sending you this holy energy and now you are healed. Like, it's really not even like that. Like me loving myself and me doing good for myself and me being able to talk with her, knowing, just loving her through everything that she goes through, in a conversation with her. It's just a wonderful thing. And I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And it's not, and it just feels right. And I'm not needing these other things to validate me as an eye minister or what I'm doing. I'm helping all of these people and, so many people that, like, it is so not about that. Like, it is so much about my own experience and what I get to experience here in this world. So I am grateful for all of you. I'm so grateful for, I'm going to keep saying it, the grand rising of the matriarch happens every Friday. Next month is the anniversary, the year anniversary of when we started doing the work and I think it might have been earlier than April, but when we started doing that work and the work about forgiveness and really, going into the womb and doing this healing, and it's it has been quite an experience because I am a natural, when a person, a skeptic, right? So everything for me, this whole experience that I've had through my life, I'm telling you, I've been dragged through it because it's been like, nope, I ain't, there were so many things that I just didn't want to accept from the spirit world and like who I was and what that meant, and like the womb and these energies and all of that was just like, I always considered myself kind of like a deep person, but nah, this was like deeper than the ocean. Like I'm like, okay, that's a lot. And it's like to have the awareness of it in my perception of it in a way that has really allowed me to understand and comprehend and understand what this is and what it means for me has been so impactful that it has made me be, in front of you today, wanting for you to have this experience in your own way, because it has to be in your own way. Every Friday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the Grand Rising of the Matriarch with I Minister Ojayemi and I Minister Reddy are there to serve the divine, feminine, and masculine. And so they'll be live tomorrow. I Minister Ojayemi, is there a topic at this time yet or not yet? Okay, let me see. I think. Okay, oh no, she's there. So I'm going to say that maybe no topic yet. All right, okay. No topic yet. I think we went a little bit over because my phone and this different phone is different times. But on Saturday, I will be live on Saturday with the sacral chakra healing, your sexual nature. I always mess up the whole title of the thing on Saturday, but that's going to change. So I'll be live again on Saturday. We'll be live again on the Grand Rising on Friday. And for those of you that are the iMinisters listening, we have iMinistry training tomorrow at 11. I'm going to yield back the floor. Does anybody have any announcements, anything that they want to say, share before we close it out?
Hola, Carla. I just want to say thank you so much, Marty, for showing up and giving us so much beautiful gems and all the artists on the line as well. I just want to thank you all for your presence. It's truly a gift.
Gracias. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I love you so much. I'm sending the highest vibration of love to every single person that is connected to this frequency right now that's receiving this. Please share with others that are needing this type of healing. Share it with anyone who you feel is going to benefit from it. This happens every single Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and you're welcome to call. And if you need anything outside of this Woosah, mastervibration13.com is where you can come, and you can send a note to me directly at 818-233-5776. That is the Master Vibration 13 line. And, we're here. We're ready to do this work, and we do what we say we do. So thank you all so much for tuning in to this Woosah. Remember to Woosah, and Woosah whatever way you need to Woosah. 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 Adiós.